I'm going to take a look at the scale tools. There's 3 of them, and they all work in coordination with one another. So the very first thing is we want to save a scale list. You can do that from whatever drawing you're in, and this would be a starting point. Let's say this is just a plain AutoCAD template. There were no changes to the scales that are available here, besides the fact that it was set to architectural and that it's an imperial drawing. So I'm going to just go ahead and save that scale list, and we're going to go ahead and name it Sample Arch Imperial. We placed it somewhere. You can place these scale files wherever it would be. Again, this was built with the intent of being a CAD management tool. So AutoCAD, the CAD managers can build these different scale lists, and just like with the import tools, the ability to work with the scales can be done from the command line, just hitting or entering a hyphen before the command name. So we've saved the scale list. Let's go ahead and edit that scale list. I'm going to open up the Edit Scale List tool. It needs to know what file we're editing. So we're going to open up that file we just saved from the generic list of scales. And it opens up our scale list to edit. So as you can see, this is the same list that we have down here at the moment. But let's go ahead and delete the scales that we don't need. You know what? We're still going to need 1-to-1. So I'm going to go ahead and type that back in. Drawing units, paper units, all of that. But we'll get rid of all these other more engineering type scales until we get to the architectural scales. We'll leave, again, 1-to-1 there. And we have now just architectural scales that are imperial and are 1-to-1. So now I'm going to save that drawing. Oh, excuse me, save that scale list that I've edited. You can always add another scale if you want. So we could have maybe 2-to-1. If I can type in here, 2-to-1. And so 2-to-1 equals, and you see the setup here. This is the name. These are the paper units. This is the drawing units. So depending on how you have your scale set up, the paper units usually equals 1 for metric and civil, or equals a fraction if it's architectural. And then the drawing units that you're working in. So go ahead and click OK, or save, I should say. And we've saved this scale list to wherever that location was that we opened it in. You can open up another one or create a new file right here. We're going to go ahead and close. And now we've saved to give us a starting point. We've edited, so now it's a nice clean file ready to go. So now all we have to do, and this is that CAD management tool that we'd probably use most often once we got those files created, is just update. And we update that scale list, this list down here, using one of those sample files that we've created. Let's go ahead to the arch one that we went ahead and created before. You know what? Let's do this. Let's go to the civil. And the reason being is because we're going to see a replacement. You know, the arch scales are already there, but the civil scales are not. So we're going to go ahead and click Open. It asks us, do we want to overwrite any existing scales that are there? Yes. So we're going to reduce our list to just the scales that are in that file or are currently used in the drawing. If the scales are used in the drawing, they can't be replaced, or removed, I should say. So go ahead and choose Yes. Press Enter. 1-to-1 is our current scale, but then you see all of the scales now just reduced down to the civil engineering scales that were available in that list. So we see how the 3 tools work together. We start with saving to give us a starting point, or we could create a new one from scratch in the edit, but it's usually easier to start with a save, then go to the edit scale list, get that scale list nice and clean. Of course, we could do that before we saved from here, but once we've got it set up, then with a simple tool such as update, which can be automated, every single time a user opens up a drawing, they could update the scale list. We have a nice clean set of scales that is standardized regardless of the templates or drawings, whether maybe it's not a drawing using the template that was set up. Everything's nice and clean, ready to go.